in commercial photography. There is a profession called lighting technician, which is a good helper for photographers. Lighting technician, or professional photographer, will carry a very important tool, which is what I'm holding, the light meter. There are different models of light meters. These are two common models on the market, Sekonic 758D and 308S. These two meters have the same function. They're not very different to use, but one of them has a higher price and more functions. You can see that the light meter has lots of function buttons, which seems complicated. Let's use only the important buttons and ignore the ones we don't use. I put some masking tape on the meter. It isn't broken, but I taped it because I don't use some of its functions, and sometimes I accidentally touch the buttons, so I put tape on it. I also put tape on the small light meter. In fact, they are all functional and not faulty. In the process of use, we just need to grasp the focus, so we can use the light meter very well. We can take the light meter as a stopwatch to understand. The difference is that the stopwatch is used to measure the time, and the light meter is used to measure the light. In the process of using, we just need to grasp the key points. Then we can use this profound tool very well. When using the light meter, we only need to understand the function of a few important keys, as well as the method of reading parameters. Then we can use the light meter well. The first is the power button. You need to press and hold the power button for 2 seconds to use it. When we use a similar instrument, like a light meter, if it does not turn on, then I recommend holding the power button for 2 seconds to turn on such an instrument when using it. In addition to the power button, there is a mode button. Both light meters have a mode key, and this button allows you to switch between 3 modes. Each of the 3 modes corresponds to 3 icons. The first is the sun icon, the second is the lightning icon, and the third is the lightning icon, plus a letter C. When using the light meter, be careful to distinguish between these 3 icons. The sun icon is mainly used to measure the continuous light source outside. It is good for measuring sunlight. This is similar to the way we use the camera's light meter. The other 2 modes both have flash effects, but it needs to match in the flash process. The flash icon plus a letter C means we need to use an extra cable. The cable I'm holding is the flash sync cable. I can connect it to the meter in front of the round hole, and then the other end to the top of the lamp. To complete the flash, I just need to press OK to turn on the flash effect of the light. But when we use it, the cable can be a bit inconvenient. To make it easier to shoot, we can select the flash mode, switch to flash mode, select this icon, press the OK button, and the flash value starts flashing. Now we start a flash, and the meter will appear a data, that is, the value of light in this state, and the metering is completed. So the light meter is actually very convenient. After introducing these features, let's take a look at the results on the display. When I press the flash button, the 2 numbers shown on the screen represent the aperture and shutter. Each time we measure the aperture, we get a different light effect, while the shutter can be preset in advance. Let's see. In this metering table, we need to focus on the recognition of the aperture. Here, the aperture will be displayed in full stops, which is what we mentioned before. 5.6, 8.0, 11, 16. And other full stops of aperture. The meter can only show the full stop aperture. There is no way to show the other values. Look closely, and you will see a small number next to the aperture. The difference between them is the font size. Then why is there such a difference? This is because the meter divides the entire stop of aperture into 10 equal parts in more detail. If it measures 11, then it can be followed by 10 equal parts from 0 to 9. How can we use these 10 equal parts in the aperture? To make it more accurate, we need the primary use of the light meter. What is the primary use? When we do not remember the value of the aperture, according to the following. 10 equal parts of 0 to 9, we can use the rounding off method. For example, if it measures 11.3, in accordance with the rounding, we can use the aperture 11 to shoot. If it measures 11.8, we use the next full stop. That is, use aperture 16 to shoot. This basically ensures the effect of light. Next, I'll introduce the advanced use of the light meter. It is difficult for beginners to remember the various apertures. Nowadays, cameras will add a third stop of aperture among the full stops of aperture. For example, in the middle of 16 and 22, there will also be 18 and 20 to a third stops of aperture. This makes it more difficult for us to remember. To make the light more accurate, we need to use the rounding method. Map the 10 equal parts of the light meter to the camera's a third stop. When it measures 0 or 1, we use the original stops. When the small coefficient measures 2, 3, or 4, we use the first a third stop of the camera. When it measures 5, 6, or 7, we use the next a third stop of the camera. If it measures 8 or 9, then we use the next full stop of aperture. Let me give you an example. Let's say it measures 16.2. Then at this point we still use 16. If it measures 16.3, we use the aperture 18. If it measures 16.6, at this point we use the aperture 20. If it measures 16.8, we use the aperture 22. By following such a rule, we can place the aperture more precisely in the desired light. Using a light meter allows us to apply light and manage it better. From not having a light meter to using a light meter, to using a light meter accurately, can allow us to grow from amateur photographers to skilled photographers and to professional photographers. What I just said is indeed a little difficult to understand, but it is important, so I suggest you read it a few times.